Hey guys, it's Dean. Welcome to Manflow Yoga. In this video, I'm going to be telling you how you can improve your hamstring flexibility. You can do most of these things with whatever you have lying around at your house, and you can start doing these immediately. So here we go. The first thing you want to do to improve your hamstring flexibility is sit less. If you are sitting for 8, 10, 12 hours a day, if you sit at your office job, then you come home and you sit some more, your hamstrings are just going to be tight, and there's only so much that exercise can do to improve your flexibility if you're sitting that often. So the first thing we want to do is address the root cause of that hamstring flexibility, or that lack of hamstring flexibility, and that is sitting. So you want to sit less. Get up, move more often. If you have to be sitting for your job, then I would recommend getting up once every hour, once every other hour at the most, and then making sure you just walk, get some movement in. The second thing we want to do is we want to do hamstring flexibility and mobility exercises. Flexibility is passive range of motion. We need that in order to increase our overall mobility. But on top of that, we want to build strength within that range of motion. And that's what mobility is. So you want to do both of these exercises. Exercises that work on your flexibility, and then exercises that work on your mobility. You don't need equipment for this. I'm going to show you exactly what you can do right now. So the first thing that you can do, this is a really simple technique, is a down dog on the wall. This is a hamstring stretch. It's super simple. You can do this without any equipment or any experience or any flexibility levels. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna find a wall, you're gonna find a chair, kind of like what I have here. Put your hands on the chair, try to make an L shape with your body, bend your knees, focus on feeling a stretch through your hamstrings while keeping your back flat. Notice that I'm kind of lengthening the front of my torso and focusing on lengthening from the backs of my knees up through my low back. I want to make sure that I'm not rounding my back. Okay, so really focus on lengthening the hamstrings, and then just relaxing your chest toward the ground. So this is a really nice way to work on your hamstring flexibility, even if you're not flexible. This doesn't put any strength aspects into the exercise, so you don't have to worry about improper technique here or doing something weird with your back. So this is the easiest way to start working on your hamstring flexibility, just a really easy passive stretch like this. The other stretch that I would recommend you do is a reclined strap stretch. So for this, you're gonna get a strap. If you don't have a strap, you can use a belt. You're gonna get on the ground, on your back, put the strap around the sole of your foot, and then aim that leg up toward the ceiling. Depending on your flexibility here, maybe it's only 45 degrees. As long as your back feels okay here, you want to keep your back neutral. You shouldn't feel any additional or unnecessary or uncomfortable stress in your low back while you're doing this. And then you can bring the leg up. Depending on your flexibility here, you can bring the leg up. You can experiment with pressing the knee forward and locking out the leg, or maybe keeping the knee slightly bent and just holding here. And as you're doing this, you want to breathe in and out of your nose, really slow and controlled. As you exhale, you can kind of go deeper into the stretch. So there is a breathing component here. If you're just holding this and not really focusing on your breathing and just waiting for the hamstring flexibility to increase, it will. But if you breathe with it, and if you use mindful breathing and those deep, long inhales and exhales, and use the exhale to work deeper into the stretch, then it's gonna be a lot more effective and you'll notice results more quickly. So with both of those stretches, and then of course you wanna switch sides and do the other side. With both of those stretches, you can hold them at least 60 seconds, and I would hold them for longer, 90 seconds or 120 seconds. And you can do 2 of those in a row, so kind of do 2 sets. And you can do this throughout the day. So the cool thing about that chair stretch that I did, why I showed you that, you can do that anywhere. You can do that at the office, you can do that at home. You don't need any equipment, you don't have to change. So you can do that one every hour or every other hour. The more frequently you do it and the more often, the more significant your hamstring flexibility increases will be. So try to do that. All right, and the next part of this We talked about doing passive flexibility. Now we need to work on that active mobility. So we want to build strength within that range of motion. One really easy exercise to do that is an airplane, or a supported airplane in this case. So you're going to get your chair again. Maybe you have blocks. You can use blocks as well if you have yoga blocks. Point here is though, we're going to work on building strength in that stretch. So we're going to get that, whatever leg you want to work on. I'm going to work with my left leg here to start. I'm going to get into a position where I can feel my hamstring stretching, the back of the thigh stretching. I'm going to put my hands on this chair, maybe lower down, maybe my hands lower down, and I want to work on actually building strength in this position. So I want to try to put some of that weight into my left leg. Should be easy because it's the only leg you're standing on. And I want to feel stretching while feeling that muscle engagement and feeling that leg work, right? So that's what we mean when we say mobility. We mean combining strength and flexibility. And if you're strong enough here, maybe you can lift your hands away and you're just balancing on one leg while doing this. And over time, you'll be able to straighten that leg more. And ideally, we're getting to the point, over time, we're striving to get to the point where we can make our bodies, our torso, parallel to the floor and get that leg pretty much straight. And that's what we want to strive for with hamstring flexibility. That takes a long time to get there though. Flexibility takes a really long time to develop. Strength is the easiest thing to build. Endurance takes longer, but flexibility takes the longest. So you got to be patient with that. And then the other thing that you can do in terms of active mobility is doing some sort of resistance training. So using weights, using dumbbells, using a barbell to help with increasing, again, strength within extended range of motion. So one exercise that you can do is a single leg straight leg deadlift. I'm gonna pretend that these blocks are dumbbells, but the way that you're gonna do this, you're gonna have the blocks or the dumbbells at your sides. You're gonna come down like this, bend your knees, and then stand up. So just coming down, bending the knees slightly, getting to that end range of motion, making sure that your back is still flat here. You don't want to round your back. You want to make sure that your back is flat, and then coming up. If you are tighter in your hamstrings, it's going to look something more like this, right? You're going to have to bend the knee more until you can get to the point where you can keep your back flat while keeping your leg mostly straight. You can also do a Romanian deadlift, which is where you're using a barbell and you're using both legs at the same time. So let's just imagine that I have a barbell in my hands. I'm gonna come down, keep my legs mostly straight, right? Until I feel that stretch through my hamstrings with my back flat, and then I come up. So again, flexibility is one part, doing the stretching is one part, but adding the strength component is what's really going to lock in those flexibility gains, and that will help you with more noticeable improvements in your flexibility. A lot of people think you just have to stretch. It's not the case. We want to build strength in that extended range of motion. The last thing I'm going to show you is called SELF-MYOFASCIAL release. I'm going to use this ball that I accidentally knocked away earlier. So one thing we want to target is actually not your hamstrings, but the soles of your feet. You can use a tennis ball for this, a golf ball. I just like using lacrosse balls because I played lacrosse, and I have a bunch of them lying around, and it's a good density for me. It's a nice, good intensity for me. So you're just gonna lightly roll the bottom of your foot with this ball. And you wanna make sure, the big mistake that I see a lot of people doing something like this, right? They kind of put all their weight on their back leg, and then they just roll really quickly. You want to roll slowly and mindfully. Okay, I really want to explore the foot. You don't need to roll over the heel here. It's not going to do anything. It's probably just going to hurt. So the part above the heel and below the toe. So you're getting that whole plantar fascia area, the tissue on the bottom of your foot. And we're just really lightly rolling, controlled. The more weight you put into this, the more intense it will be. It shouldn't hurt, but it also shouldn't be not uncomfortable. It's gonna be, it's gonna feel intense, but it shouldn't hurt. So you gotta find that balance there. So we're gonna do that for both sides. And the cool thing about this is if you do an immediate before and after test, if you try and reach down and touch your toes and do a hamstring, a hamstring stretch before doing this, and then you try doing this afterwards, your hamstring mobility actually increases instantly. So there's something about massaging the bottom of your foot, relaxing that tissue in the bottom of your foot that sends a message up through your hamstrings and tells those muscles to relax and lengthen. So that is something that you can do to instantly increase flexibility, but it's not long lasting, okay? But it is a good way to warm up if you're looking to increase your hamstring flexibility. And then the second part that we want to do, we actually want to target the hamstrings. So for this, you're going to sit on the ball, and the first thing you can do is just awkwardly roll around on your hamstrings. This is called, a client and I came up with a term for this. It's called benching. Apparently benching is actually a thing, but we call this benching. So you're gonna roll on the ball on a chair, and you just wanna get the back of your thigh, not your butt, but the back of your thigh. So we're just kind of rolling and loosening up that tissue, trying to find, you know, some tight areas that we can work into. And that's the first part. The second part is we want to find a muscle knot, or we want to find a part of your hamstrings that are tight, press that down, take a deep breath in, and then as you exhale, you're going to straighten that leg. So you're working into that tissue. You're pinning down that tight tissue and then extending it. This is called a pin and extend technique. So we're going to do this, making sure you exhale as you extend your leg. And you're going to do this for maybe 2 minutes per side, and not in one specific spot. You're gonna roll around and try and find different spots to do this on. You can do this for 2 minutes on both sides. And you can hold it for a little longer. And this is a nice way to also work on your hamstring mobility. So to recap all of that, you got 4 things to work on. Number 1, you want to make sure that you're not sitting as much. So the less you sit, the more flexible your hamstrings will be. Move more often, get up, do some walking, and do some of the stretches that we covered here. Number 2, you want to work on your flexibility and your mobility. So we want to do passive stretches to help lengthen your hamstrings, to help get those muscles longer, work on the passive flexibility. And then we want to build the active mobility. So build strength within flexibility. So you've got the passive stretches, right? That down dog, either against a wall, on a chair. We've got the strap stretch. So lying down on your back, putting a strap or a belt, and doing this stretch here. We want to hold those for at least 60 seconds up to 120 seconds. And you want to make sure that you're breathing slow and controlled in and out of the mouth as you're doing this, using your exhale to work deeper into the stretch. The next part of that is combining flexibility with strength. So we're going to use exercises like an airplane, something where you are building strength but also stretching your hamstrings at the same time. You can use an airplane, you can use a down dog, and we can also use resistance training for that, right? So we talked about how you can use, these are my dumbbells, you can use a single leg straight leg deadlift like this, great balance exercise as well, or you can use a Romanian deadlift, which is where you've got your barbell, you're going down, keeping the back flat, getting that stretch at the bottom, and then coming back up. So you've got resistance training to help you improve your active mobility as well. And then lastly, we want to make sure that we're doing some sort of self-myofascial release. This is basically self-massage to help break up adhesion in the tissues to help increase your overall flexibility. And this is going to dramatically improve your flexibility. For that, you can use a lacrosse ball, a tennis ball, a golf ball, use it on the sole of your foot. And then we also want to do that benching technique that I said. So massaging your hamstrings with the ball, and then the pin and extend technique, right? So putting that ball under the hamstrings, pressing down, and as you exhale, extend and working deeper into that tissue. You can do the self-myofascial release either after a workout, you can do it before a workout, you can do it as part of a standalone workout. I would make sure that you add some sort of stretching or some sort of active mobility work at the end of self-myofascial release to help kind of lock that in. This is a good temporary improvement for flexibility, but adding strength onto it is where you really lock in those long-term improvements. So that's why that active mobility component is so important. I hope you found this video useful. If you haven't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe, like the video if you found it useful, leave a comment if you have a question or some feedback, and I'll see you on the next video. All right, if you enjoyed that video, I want to invite you to take my free 7-day challenge. This is a beginner's yoga for men workout series featuring 15-minute workouts and daily emails to help hold you accountable and motivated. This is a great way to learn yoga, to get started, and it's totally free. Sign up at the first link in the description below. When you sign up, I'm also going to give you a free bonus video, a previously members-only workout called Head and Neck Essentials. This is a 25-minute workout that's perfect for relieving tension in your head, neck, and shoulders, useful for pretty much any situation. So go ahead and sign up for that 7-day challenge. Do it right now. Click that link in the description. I'll wait. And if you haven't already subscribed to this YouTube channel, be sure to subscribe. We put out new videos every week. And if you like the video, be sure to like the video, click the like button, and leave a comment if you have any feedback or questions. Thanks again for being here. I'll see you on the next video.